everyone, welcome to Tuesday Talk. It's been 2 weeks since I've had a Tuesday Talk, and sorry about that. I would like to first of all welcome the new members. You'll see them scrolling down the screen. Thank you so much for how you are supporting my channel, and I hope to meet you. If I haven't already, I hope to meet you in the next Friday night private member Zoom meeting. Those are a lot of fun. So today I'm going to give you some channel updates as well as show some meal examples of what my food looks like lately, because I've had so many questions about that. So first of all, let me give you a couple of updates. I am in the process of not moving to Rumble, but adding Rumble as an additional place where people who are there can see my videos. I was contacted by them with an invitation, and they explained to me how I can, move my copy my videos over. So what that'll mean is that eventually, it's going to take some time, but eventually any videos that I have here on YouTube, I will also have on Rumble, and when I create a new video, once everything is set up properly, apparently they should appear in both places. So for those of you that are moving over to Rumble or have an account there as well, you can look for me there too. So that's that. The other thing I want to talk about is some news about my exercise program. I am doing an exercise program every other day with weights and bands, and I have had many requests from you guys to somehow include that in a video. Now, I am no Jane Fonda. I cannot even imagine myself doing an exercise video. I feel like that is really not where my expertise lies. However, I understand that, for us older ladies, sometimes you need a little bit of something, and there's not a lot of something out there. Usually when I have looked, searched for a demonstration of an exercise, I'm getting some, young fit person with muscles, lifting impossibly heavy weights, it doesn't seem quite as doable. So here's what I propose, and I would love your ideas on it. I will do some shorts, and each short will be short, like 30 seconds, and it will show me demonstrating how I do the exercises that I am doing, and that would include any that are modified for my knee, for example, which I've been having trouble with for a number of years now, that kind of thing. And so I'd love to hear what you think of that. Then at the end of that, once I've filmed all those shorts, I'm going to put it in a playlist. So those of you that want to do this yourself, you can look at the playlist and find out how to do a bicep curl or a tricep extension, how to use the bands. So each little short will just show one thing. And I think that's probably a good way for me to go, and it's more doable. So, by the way, speaking of Jane Fonda, how many here are old enough to remember when her workout video came out on LP? I had that record album of her video. There was no, watching her on YouTube or watching her on TV. It was on a record. Anyways, just a bit of trivia that I thought of. So the next thing I want to talk about is my meals. So this has been my number one request recently. People are messaging me, emailing me, asking me on Facebook or wherever they can find me, well, what does your meals look like? I've noticed you've lost a lot of weight and inches lately. I want to do what you're doing. So first of all, I want to say that what I'm doing is not going to be right for everybody. You know, I've had some coaching with this. I worked with Alice and Kevin. You know, I've been transparent about that. They have helped me come up with these macros, which seem to be working. The other thing I want to say is that the reason I think that these macros work so well, and I've had a couple of discussions with people who know a lot more than I do about this, is because I was already fat adapted. If you guys recall, it's about a year ago now, I did 90 days of over 80-20 fat, percent of calories from fat, very high fat carnivore. And I believe that put me in a good position to be able to then lower my fat grams and increase my protein grams to get some results. I just wasn't doing it enough. I went from the 80-20 to 75-25 and then 70-30. And you know, I was getting some weight loss, very, very slow. So I have very, very slowly been losing weight. And then when I did my sessions with Alice and Kevin, they brought me down even further. So I'm doing approximately 60-40 at the moment. And my body just seemed to react to that. So, but I can't stress enough that you know, I was definitely fat adapted. If you're new to carnivore or you know, newish, don't even think about tweaking. You know, get yourself fat adapted first. Eat good fatty meats. Just don't worry about tracking at this point. Don't forget, I've been doing this for a number of years. Up to this point, I've lost 145 pounds, and I still have more to go, but I'm a lot closer now than I was 2 or 3 months ago. So I'm very grateful for that. But I lost a lot of weight doing things like dirty keto, low carb, you know, evolved into what I'm doing now. This was not something I did out of the gate. And so I just want you to make sure that because I'm doing something and it's working for me now, if you're fairly new, it may not work for you at all. So, you know, just learn as much as you can and, you know, file this away for that time when you're getting closer to your goal and you need to do a little tweaking like I've been doing. So with that out of the way, let me show you some typical meals. So I have 4 random days here that I chose. On my phone, I take a picture of everything I eat, and so I have access to recent meals. So this is all 2 meals a day, and it's approximately 150 grams of protein and 100 grams of fat. That's kind of what I'm doing now, 60-40, 60% of calories from fat, 40% of calories from protein. So here's a typical day. You'll have it up on the screen, you know, to be able to look at it. So on this particular day, I had 2 meals. You will notice a pattern after a while, and we'll see what you notice there. But so the first meal was, I had a bratwurst, and I had a chuck steak, and a couple of pieces of bacon. Then the second meal was some leftover sirloin steak, and I believe that was about 3 ounces, a can of sardines, and 6 ounces of shrimp. And so that day was a total, I was a little short that day on my protein. It was a total of 142 grams of protein and 100 grams of fat. And it was pretty close to 60-40. So here's another day, again, 60-40. On this day, I had leftover New York strip. I had a chicken thigh, and actually I think it was all New York strips, just some of it is more done than the rest. I usually air fry the leftovers to get them a little crunchy again. And then my second meal of the day was a salmon fillet, and those come out of I got the Costco bag, those come out of the bag weighing around 7 ounces each. I also had a chicken thigh, which usually weighs 4 to 5 ounces, and I had a half a can of cod livers. That day was 154 grams of protein and 102 grams of fat. On this randomly chosen day, I had leftover ribeye, 6 ounces of leftover ribeye, 3 ounces of ground beef, and that's just fried in a pan with 2 eggs over easy. And then my second meal was 6 ounces of shrimp and 8 ounces of New York strip. Very delicious meals, I have to say. Oh, did I say it was 153 grams of protein and 103 grams of fat. And then on this day, this is the only day I didn't have seafood. I don't know if you noticed, but I do try to include some kind of seafood in my day, even if it's, just part of a meal. And on this day, I had a half a pound of leftover ribeye, 3 eggs, and I had a half a pound of brisket. This was 171 grams of fat and 113 grams of protein. So 2 patterns that you probably picked up on, one being, liking to have a lot of seafood in my diet. I do that for the omega-3s. I do that for my knee joints. I believe it helps. And so I do try to have those, sardines, shrimp, salmon. Those often show up in my meals. And the other thing that I like to do, and it makes it easier for me to get more protein, is to have a variety on my plate, 2 or 3 different types of meat. So 150 grams of protein, which is my target, is approximately, depending on the meat, 1.5 pounds of meat throughout the day. If I was to put on my plate 1.5 pounds of steak, I don't think I would get through it, even if I divided it up into 2 meals. I just feel psychologically, when I have a plate that has, shrimp and cod liver, a little bit of steak, a little bit of ground beef, 2, 3, 4 things, a chicken thigh, that kind of, just a variety. It just feels more like a normal meal, and I feel like that variety just helps me get it all down. I don't know if that makes any sense at all. Maybe it doesn't. I know a lot of people who can just sit with a giant steak on their plate in front of them and go through it. And I'm just not one of them. So I just believe in doing what works for you, because what works for me may not work for you, and vice versa. So there you have it. I hope that's been helpful to some of you, and please, feel free to ask questions in the comments below. And yeah, we'll see you in some of my future shorts. I don't know how long it's going to take me to get those done, but we'll see you there, and we'll see you in next week's Tuesday Talk. Thanks for watching.